Buhari annuls tenure elongation for APC executives. Federal government intensifies peace building in the Niger Delta. Inter-party advisory committee lauds PDP's admittance of past mistakes. Welcome to the AM News at this time on Television Nigerian. I am Eunice Johnson. The leadership of the ruling party, All Progressives Congress, at the national level received a jolt at the just concluded National Executive Council meeting held in Abuja when President Muhammadu Buhari asked the body to reverse its decision to grant a tenure extension for party executives at all levels. The president further asked the party's National Executive Council to henceforth avoid taking decisions capable of leading the party into anarchy, as the tenure extension was at variance with the party's constitution as well as the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Buhari, who made the opening remark at the event, stated that he had discoursed extensively and received legal advice from the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice on the matter. Peaceful and gainful employment have been identified as formidable ingredients for sustainable development in the Niger Delta region. The federal government is ever mindful of this fact and is taking proactive steps through the Ministry of Niger Delta Development. Our correspondent tells us more.
Sustainable development always suffers setback in an environment of violence and unrest. For that reason, the federal government, through the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, is intensifying efforts to reach out to the Niger Deltans and this set of community leaders in Akamba in Cross River State. The sole aim is to get the communities to align themselves with the ideals of dialoguing for peace. Minister of State, Niger Delta Affairs, Claudius Daramola, was represented by the Ministry Director of Press, Marshal Gundu.
I'm very impressed with what is happening. And I like the turnout of this one in particular, and the participation level of the traditional rulers and stakeholders in general.
It's actually a wonderful one. The program has actually created a lot of awareness, which is one of the things the youths in this community actually needed.
The community members took advantage of the medical outreach program, which was flagged off by the ministry to promote healthy living in the region. Meanwhile, the ministry has graduated 180 Bakassi returnees from the state in poultry and fishery production. The graduates were advised to utilize the knowledge gained and start-up funds provided by the federal government judiciously. This is one of the initiatives of the present administration aimed at diversifying economy, increasing food security, and generating employment for youths in the region. Charles Ibe, reporting for TVN News.
Chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC in Yobe, Alhaji Umar Kukuri, says the admittance of past mistakes by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, was healthy for Nigeria's democracy. Kukuri described the admittance of shortcomings by the party as a sign of political maturity that could create confidence in the electorate. The IPAC chieftain observed that politicians owed Nigerians an apology when they failed. He further added that politicians should be lauded when they improve the lives of the people. He also commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the courage to accept that his administration has faced challenges and turbulence in the last 3 years. We'll take a break now, and when we return, coalition of NGOs launch anti-corruption war by federal government. Thanks for staying tuned. Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, played host to a coalition of non-governmental organizations who gathered primarily to throw their support behind the federal government ongoing on the fight against corruption. Our correspondent tells us more.
Bashiru Jabiru of the Nigerian Bar Association and Mariam Osuza, the chairperson of the coalition, says the effort of anti-corruption agencies in the country has strengthened the people's resolve to support fight against corruption.
Corruption Criminal Code Act Bill. 2. Whistleblowers Act. 3. Anti-Money Laundering Act. Those are the 3 crucial bills that once passed, they will be addition to the framework of ICPC, EFCC as institution to fight corruption in Nigeria.
The anti-corruption rally started from the Ibrahim Abacha Youth Center and terminated at the government house.
Governor of Nasarawa State, he will insist on interfacing with members of the National Assembly from Nasarawa State to ensure that they give this bill the requisite support.
In support of the anti-corruption efforts of the federal government, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, believes the campaign should be taken to the grassroots, hence its sensitization.
The ultimate objective is to mobilize ordinary citizens to embrace the fight against corruption.
Bennett Joshua, TVN News.
And in sports, top officials of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, have paid a visit to bedridden Super Eagles goalkeeper Carl Ikeme. The ailing goalkeeper became the Super Eagles' first choice before the Russia 2018 FIFA World Cup preliminary fixture against Swaziland and the first match of the group phase against Zambia in Ndola before he was diagnosed with acute leukemia after returning abnormal blood tests during pre-season testing at English Championship club Wolverhampton Wanderers. President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amadu Pinnick, led a delegation of NFF top shots and team staff, including NFF First Vice President Seyi Akinwumi, General Secretary Mohammed Sanusi, Super Eagles team administrator Dayo Enebi, Eagles goalkeepers trainer Aloy Agu, and team media officer Tony Ibitoye to visit Ikeme at the Christie Clinic in Manchester, where he is being treated. One of Nigeria's opponents at the finals of the 2018 World Cup in Russia, Iceland, has announced it will be withdrawing from the football event following diplomatic row. The development is not unconnected to the ongoing diplomatic row following the US and EU countries' announcement of the expulsion of Russian diplomats over the Sergei Skripal poisoning case. Iceland is billed to play Nigeria's Super Eagles, Croatia and Argentina at the World Cup event scheduled to take place in Russia from June 14 to July 15. Russia won hosting rights to the event in December 2010. And on the foreign scene, Pope Francis has urged young people not to be silent but to let their voices be heard, even in the face of corrupt or silent elders. The Pope's message comes on the heels of a meeting of young Catholics who told the Vatican they want a more transparent and authentic church, and a day after hundreds of thousands marched in youth-led rallies across the United States to demand greater gun control. The Pope observed that the temptation to silence young people has always existed and urged youths in his homily to always speak out even when the older generations and corrupt leaders keep quiet. As the Roman Catholic Church continues the Holy Week observations, retracing the story of the crucifixion of Jesus and his resurrection 3 days later on Easter Sunday, Francis urged youth to join those who offer praise and not the masses calling for crucifixion. To end the news, a recap of the major stories. Buhari annuls tenure elongation for APC executives. Federal government intensifies peace building in the Niger Delta. IPAC lauds PDP's admittance of past mistakes. And that's the news on Television Nigerian. But before I go, I leave you with this thought. Admire what you desire, but never aspire for the expired. Thank you very much for watching. I am Eunice Johnson. Bye for now.